Hello and welcome back to my channel and to another video. Today's video, as you can tell by the title, is my September monthly reset. We made it to spring. Winter is on the out for Australia and we are welcoming the warmer months. I love the springtime in Melbourne. There's a lot of pollen, a lot of flowers going on. I don't really get allergy issues here. I did get it a lot in Vancouver, which is really interesting. So spring here is fine for me. I do apologize for all the allergy girlies out there, or you know, whoever has allergies, because it does suck this time of year. So get ready for the warm months. That's exciting. Let's hold on to that. Winter is done, moving into a new season, a new month. It's a good time, and it is the 1st of September today, and it's a Sunday, and I think that's really nice to sort of start off into the week in a new month. I don't know, good vibes all around. If you're new to my monthly resets, I'm going to take you through reflections on the previous month, budgeting, expenses, all those fun things, goal setting. And if you like to do this kind of stuff, then get a pen, get your journal, let's plan together. I love to have these sort of videos in the background when I'm doing some planning, so hopefully that is the same for you guys. This month will be a little bit different because I did do a big trip. I went to the US and Canada, so yeah, the expenses will be like a separate video of what I spent, because the whole month was basically my trip. I'm not gonna count the last couple of weeks for that. So without further ado, let's get into my reflections for the month of August. Okay, I'm gonna learn from my past few videos where I haven't been writing anything down and then I just go on a rant. If you guys are new here, my name is Sasha. Hello, I'm a 31-year-old living in Melbourne, Australia, and my beautiful cat Flo is just right next to me over there. So she is also participating in this. I'll insert a photo of Flo there because she looks too comfy to disturb her. Okay, I've written everything down and let's just get into it. I will try to be concise with my elaborations. So, what are you most proud of? I'm most proud of kayaking over 8 hours within 24 hours with little to no experience. Trying new experiences on my tour, like a huge roller coaster and speedboating. Okay, first part of this, I did a kayaking camping trip with my friend Matt. We legitimately kayaked, two-person kayak, thank God, or else I don't think I would have made it. 4 hours up the Indian Arm, which is an inlet kind of in Vancouver, near Deep Cove, like North Vancouver. And then we camped overnight, and then in the morning we did the 4-hour trip back. Saw some seals, saw some waterfalls. It was beautiful, like a lovely experience, very Vancouver, very Canadian, and I wanted to do it last summer. We just ran out of time. I think it was so hectic with me leading up to coming back to Australia. So yeah, it was really, really good. Lots of highs and lows, and it was really, like, I got calluses and it was tough, but wouldn't have been able to do it without Matt. So thanks so much, Matt. And yeah, I'd only kayaked, what, twice, 3 times before? And I had a really horrendous kayaking experience a week earlier. So I had a little bit of PTSD for the Canada kayaking, because the one that I did in Miami was a complete disaster, and I will get into that later. Maybe it's kind of intense. And then yeah, try new experiences. I'm not a rides gal, but I did go to Universal Studios in Florida and I went on a bunch of rides. The scariest one was the Velocicoaster, I'm not gonna say that properly, in Jurassic Park World, and it only opened in 2021, and I screamed so much that there was nothing coming out, and when the roller coaster stopped, I was crying. Like, it was so scary, but I did it. I don't know how I did, but I did it. So I'm very proud of myself for doing that. I think it was like, well, while I'm here, I'm gonna do some roller coasters, because I'm not a rides get. Like, I get such bad motion sickness, and I wouldn't like say that I love theme parks. But when in Florida, you know, you gotta do one or more. And speedboating was just a new experience. Like, I loved it. We went around Miami. How was there a fly? There's a fly in my room, in my living room. Okay, next, what challenged you this month? I struggled with the heat in the US and the tour guide and the tour group situation. The kayaking disaster nearly broke my spirit, and it was hard not to lose my cool and give up. So just quickly, the tour, the Kentucky tour from hell. Look, it wasn't all bad. I do have so many issues with it. Firstly, I found out 2 days before I left for Texas via a poorly written email from the tour guide. He mentioned that we're joining up with another tour, and that wasn't listed on the website under my tour or the longer tour, but there was an LA to Miami trip, and we were starting smack bang in the middle, which, you know, I think other tours do that, but I had no idea, and I called Kentucky and I was really, you know, pissed off, to say the least. I was like, I wanted like a small little group, 10-day trip, let's just smash it out. But no, we were part of a bigger group. There was only 50 of us, and the group was bizarre. The girls were so bitchy. They were saving seats on the bus, looking us up and down, like we were 12 people joining the other 36, but they'd already had LA, Vegas, Grand Canyon, other parts in Arizona that had all this time together. So they'd formed friendships. Most of them were sleeping with each other. It was just such a weird vibe. So when we all joined, thank God I made friends in the 12 that joined. Like, we just kind of hung out together. The tour guide was super lazy, unprofessional. It was a lot. So yeah, I was not very happy about the tour experience overall. I usually travel alone regardless, and it wasn't to say, like, the places weren't all bad, like I had good times for sure, but I just think the setup with the tour guide in particular, like, he didn't bring, like, he wasn't professional, and he didn't, like, I paid for a tour experience and I didn't really get it. I was sort of just showing myself around with the friends that I made. And I just thought it was so bizarre, like so high school, that girls were quite rude, and, you know, like, we didn't do anything but join the tour. Like, I don't know if they did, like, they probably didn't know that we were joining until maybe they started the trip as well, but it's not our fault, you know, and it didn't get better. Maybe a few of the girls warmed up over the tour and said hi, and they were, you know, smiled at us at least, but there was this real divide, which didn't make any sense. And it just felt very crowded. Not a great bus as well. So yeah, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna lie and be like, I had the best trip of my life, because I didn't. The tour wasn't great. I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend some of the places that I went to for sure, but I wouldn't recommend that tour in particular. And I've already, yeah, the complaint with the tour guide and everything is separate. He may have been amazing for the first group, because obviously he started, you know, getting with one of them, and like, he seemed to have a really bro type relationship with some of the guys, and would, you know, pre-drink with them and all this kind of stuff. So I think the first half of the tour probably gave him like a great review, because he was like their friend and they got drunk together, but I didn't feel like he gave, I don't know, it was just a bit bizarre. And I've done other tours before and had a really good experience. So that was just my opinion. That was my experience of that. And the kayaking is a really, really long story, but long story short, we started out with 14 people and only 6 made it to this island, and our kayak filled up with water. We watched, Finn and I, we watched a couple and their kayak sunk. Didn't think that was possible in like open water. We were in like in the Miami Bay. There were manatees and maybe sharks in the water. There was a hurricane, Debbie was around, so there were full waves crashing into our kayak. There was one guide. He didn't have any control over the group. He didn't know what was going on. It was an absolute disaster. And yeah, the people who didn't even make it, they went out into the sea and then they turned around and went back. It was just so chaotic. That was a few hours kayaking as well. Like the whole trip, I think, was 3 hours kayaking. And it poured with rain as well. It was just, it was an absolute nightmare, and it was so badly organized. We didn't know who we were meeting or where we were going, and the Kentucky guide didn't really support us in any way. He, like the people who were literally had no, like, I was the only one with a life jacket because I asked for one. No one else had a life jacket. There was no safety talk. It was so unprofessional. And he was like, oh, this has never happened before. There was supposed to be 2 guides, not 1. I'm doing everything. I'm on the phone to my boss. And then the outcome he gave me was nothing, because I made it to the destination by like flipping my kayak with like the water and nearly freaking drowning out at sea. Like, I obviously wouldn't have drowned because I had a life jacket, but it was just so traumatizing seeing people screaming for help and holding up their belongings and they didn't have a life jacket, and seeing their kayak like sink. It was nuts. and I've never experienced anything like it. And I wasn't scared of the ocean. I wasn't scared of kayaking. And then I have this like, I'm kind of glad that I did kayaking with Matt a week later, because that's how it was done. It was through Deep Cove Kayaks. They gave us a 20-minute safety briefing. They asked, you know, our techniques. We all had life jackets. They helped us into the kayak. It was so professional, and I felt so safe and cared for. There was, you know, things on our kayak to help us if something went wrong, as opposed to the Miami, Florida experience, which was a freaking nightmare. Like, it was so bad. I think the first 20 minutes were fun because I was like, this is so beautiful. Look, there's an iguana. Oh, it's sunny, and we're paddling along. And then it just went pew. So yeah, that was challenging, and I have rabbited on too long. So anyway, it's a little, you know, travel isn't always amazing. Okay, what are 3 things you're grateful for? The girls that I met on my tour. Thank the Lordy Lord for them. Amy, Sarah, Flo, Casey, and Lisa. You girls got me through. We all could have a little bitch and complain together. We all stuck together. We all understood. We all had the same shared experience about making the most of what we had, taking ourselves around because old mate wouldn't give us any, you know, recommendations. It was just such a weird tour. But those girls were so sweet, and I really connected with them. We have a group chat, and yeah, I will catch up with them wherever life brings me, to the UK or Qatar or New Zealand. So had a lovely group of girls. So that was a real positive. And without them, I don't honestly know if I would have stayed on the tour. It was that bad. So I probably would have left. The privilege to afford to travel. I think with all the disaster that happened, I know how privileged it is to travel in, you know, the cost of living crisis. That's what we call it in Australia. Or the cost of living crisis. It's everywhere. It's in the US, Canada, Australia, all over the world. People are struggling to get by. The supermarket bills are crazy, electricity, everything. But it's just me and my cat. That's who I'm looking after. That's who I pay for in this life. I don't have a house full of kids. I don't own a house. I don't have a mortgage. I don't have a car. So I know the privilege to afford to go on this trip. So that is not lost on me. And I know I've just complained about some experiences on the tour, but that doesn't take away the fact that I could afford to. And yeah, I know how grateful I am for that. And that's why I came back to Australia, because you make more money here overall than Vancouver. And obviously that's one of the reasons that I came back, but I know that I can afford to travel overseas with the season of life that I'm in right now. Like, I'm not paying off any huge debts. Like, my student debt just sort of sits over there because I don't have to pay it off. Well, I am paying it off, but like small. Yeah. And then the last thing is realizing that both Vancouver and Melbourne are my home. So I'm really grateful to know that going back to Vancouver for that week, it was so lovely, especially after being in the US, to get back to Vancouver and being like, oh, I know what bus to get. I know how to top up my Compass card. I know which walks to go on. I know how to get from A to B. I know what shops to get the groceries from, whatever. Like, I just felt like I was home. And I thought that was really nice, because I have this obviously same feeling in Melbourne. So it was nice that I still feel like Vancouver's my home, even after leaving, you know, back in, like, I've been here since November. So yeah, I kind of have 2 homes. Something you learned this month. I learned my resilience with tough times on my tour, still pushing through even if it was difficult. I learned that the ones who care will show up and make the effort, and now I have clarity. So that just pertains to my experience back in Canada. I told people, you know, I'm here from this date to this date. I would love to see you. I reached out to a bunch of people in advance, like not like when I was there. And I was like, I would love to catch up. I'm here. And I had a lot of people show up for me and want to see me multiple times. We had such lovely, you know, dinners and chats and good times. And then there were people who were like, you know what, like, can't make it, sorry. And couldn't spare, you know, 15 minutes to go for a coffee, or couldn't meet me halfway with anything. And I was like, okay, I've just traveled to the other side of the world to here, and it is what it is. So the ones who made an effort proved to me that they're the real ones, you know? And the others who didn't, then that's it. And like, all the best to them, love to them, but that's kind of closing that chapter of me trying so hard to keep all these friendships alive, and then people just being like, you know what, that's it. That was us, Sasha, and this is now. And yeah, it's bittersweet, but at least I have clarity to know that that's done, and that's okay. And if they come back into my life at another time, great. But I'm really tired of trying, and now it's kind of, yeah, it's enlightening in a way to know who cares and who doesn't in their own way. So yeah, anyway, it's a longer story than that, but I won't get into it because it's too much on the internet. Word of the month, adventure. Definitely was an adventure, let me tell you. That trip, that tour, the experiences, the ups and the downs, it was an adventure, so definitely fulfilled that. And word of September is balance. I really, really want to find a balance this month between work and play and my health, and just focusing on that. Especially going into spring, I think you get a new lease on your fitness and health, and yeah, I just want to find balance. I'm a very stressed out gal, so I still need to find how to balance all of that out. Let's stop at the reflections because I probably shared too much, but that's who I am. I'm an oversharer. So let's get into my goals, what I did for, I guess, what I achieved in August and what I would like to achieve in September. I keep thinking it's August and it's, I don't know. Anyway, let's get on to it. Okay, I'm gonna read out my goals from my laptop. I usually pop it up somewhere, but I'll be looking down because I don't wanna move Flo, because she was nice and cozy up on her cat pole, and that's where I usually put this. But anyway, August goals, let's go. So, journal on the trip as I go. Didn't do that, classic me. Take time to do things for me during the trip. I ticked this because the only time I sort of succumbed to peer pressure was the Universal Studios, because I really wanted to go to Disney, but I didn't understand, again, because the way the trip was set up, it was suggested that we had already paid for the ticket for Universal, and then on the tour he was like, oh, you have to pay for Universal. And then the girls that I was hanging out with were doing Universal, and I was like, you know what, I'll go to Disney another time. So I really wanted to go to Disney and didn't, but I don't regret going to Universal either. It was more like, that could have been, I don't know if I could have just walked around Disney by myself. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. So went to Universal, loved it in the end, even though I'm not an adventure galley like that, theme park person. But I think I did stick to my guns if there was something I didn't want to do, or if I did want to do, even if people weren't doing it. So I think that's the only time that I was like, you know what, everyone's doing Universal, I'll do Universal. But I did the speedboating, I did the airboat with the alligator tour in the swamp in New Orleans. I did a cemetery tour in New Orleans. I did tarot card reading in New Orleans because I wanted to do that. And there was just a bunch of things that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this because I'm here and why not? And yeah, so I'm happy about that. Focus on experiences, enjoy the moment as much as I could, yes, for sure. Find closure in Vancouver. I just touched on it earlier, but a lot of the friend stuff that was causing me a lot of grief, I found closure in that because I was able to see people and reconnect and understand that friendships now will change being long distance. But I don't know, I did find closure in Vancouver, which was lovely. Financial, be mindful of unnecessary purchases. I really didn't buy anything, and if you watch my next video, which will be my expenses, the conversion was so bad, so I still spent a bunch of money, but nothing was unnecessary in my opinion. Fix up my banking, Canada, all done, all closed, all signed, sealed, delivered. Health and wellness, keep up water intake on trip. It was above 35 degrees every single day and humid, so you best believe I was drinking a lot of water. Do foot ankle exercises. I didn't do it because I was fine. I don't know how or why the foot pain went, but it did. So whatever I was doing, sitting on a bus for 8 hours every second day, worked. Take time to chill, relax if I need to. I don't think this is, you know what? Maybe one day this will be possible, but at the moment I just don't do this. I don't chill or relax. look into gym options when in Melbourne. I've been doing that. I haven't decided on one yet. I still think classes are for me, but I'm going to talk to Fitness First in the next week. Social media, post TikTok during tour. Well, I did post some TikToks, but I didn't post every day or anything like that because I was always with someone, and on the bus we didn't have Wi-Fi. Like, I couldn't do videos on the bus even though we were on the bus so much. So yeah, I've got a lot of videos to make TikToks, but I haven't done really that. And create reels, vlog, upload photos of trip. I uploaded photos of the trip to my story. So I've got like little things shared. If you follow me at Sash Says, you can see my trip in photo form and videos, I guess. And I do have ideas for reels. I only vlogged New Orleans, I think, because again, it just wasn't what I was expecting. So I didn't want to be like, we're at this place, and just sort of smile through the BS. Like, I'm not into that. So I didn't really vlog anything because it wasn't the sort of trip to vlog. Okay, September goals. Host a grand final event. It is the grand final of AFL here in the end of the month. So Melbourne, we really love our footy. We have a whole day off for the parade that no one even goes to on the Friday, but I want to host a grand final event. Research ADHD testing options. I've been talking about it with my psychologist, and well, she's pretty certain that I have it, but we won't know until I get tested. So there's a bunch of different ways to do so. Sorry, not ways. I have to get a referral to a psychiatrist, but I need to research the wait time and cost of different clinics. I'm gonna look into that. Spend more time with mum and dad. There's been some family stuff going on, so I just really want to stay connected with them. It's an hour or so on the train, but it's worth it so I can see mum and dad. Journal about career, feelings, future. I just feel like I need to write stuff down. I talk it out a lot, which is good, but I think I need to get a lot more of it on paper to understand. And maybe that's with my ADHD. I just need to see things visually to be able to find more focus, I think. Financial. Research credit cards with benefits. I want to get a credit card that gets me flight points, but I don't want to pay like $300 a year for a credit card. So I've never had a credit card with annual fees before, but I need to weigh up the pros and cons because I really want to get like, Qantas points or Virgin points or something, but I don't know how to do that. So I will look into that. If anyone has any good credit card recommendations for Australia, please comment down below. Plan and budget next trip. I'm thinking of going away over Christmas, New Year, but yeah, I need to budget that and see what the go is with my fam and with the girl I might be traveling with. Health and wellness, smaller portions. That's just what I want to do for myself. I just eat way too much and I'm literally full and I keep eating because I hate to leave food. Most of the food that I eat is salad, so it doesn't really keep, or it does keep, but it doesn't taste great the next day. So I just need to make a smaller salad. Silly. Minimize the sugar throughout the day. I'm having my sweet treats again at work because it's there. Not as much, but I feel like I'll have a sugary, like a long black with a sugar in it just to keep me going, and I'm just substituting now coffee for sugar. But I am just not having the best snacks at work. So that comes into the next one, which is higher protein snacks for work. I'm getting so hungry and I'm sitting down pretty much all day at work, so I can't really justify it. But I think because I'm working out in the morning, I just need to sort of space out snacks and have better options. I just sort of do carrots and hummus and that's fine, but it's not, I don't know. I just find it's not the best for filling me up. And do a dance class. I really want to do a dance class. Yeah, by myself or with someone. I don't know what style yet, but we shall see. And social media, post more across all channels and limit my TikTok time, my time on TikTok to be more productive. Like if I'm on TikTok, can I post a TikTok and then scroll for a bit, like make it worthwhile. Yeah. And I have so many ideas for content, but I just get the overwhelm and I just haven't done it. Like I have so many pre-filmed videos that I haven't edited because the thought of being on a computer for hours and hours after being at work and staring at a computer for 9 hours, it's hard when I get home from work. I'm bloody exhausted. The job that I do is very taxing on the mind, body, soul. So there are my goals. Let's get on to my budget for September. Alrighty, let's get into my September budget. With regards to the August expenses, I'm going to be doing a separate little video about my trip and what I spent and what, you know, that was. So the last couple of weeks spending in Melbourne has just been, you know, a couple $100 on groceries, and that's kind of it. So nothing too crazy. So I didn't think it was worth it. So I'll do a whole separate video that you can watch right after this if you're interested. For the moment, let's just do our budget for September. So I get paid monthly. I think I'll have a full paycheck, but I'm not sure. So I just put it down a little bit. So I think I'll get $4,300 this month. So birthday gifts, I just put 50. There's a couple of birthdays this month, and I don't know how or like what I'm doing to celebrate the people. So I just put 50 bucks. Emergency fund was 468. I don't know where to put that money. That was what I put aside for the trip in the last budget. So I just chucked it there. Rent, utilities, 1,520. Phone, 35. Mikey, I put 15 if I need to top up during the month. Uber, taxi, bus, unlikely. But I'll put, you know, if I get in someone's Uber, I'll just transfer the money. So I don't know, it just doesn't seem likely. Groceries, 400 for the month. Restaurants, bars, 400. Cafes, takeaway, 200. Liquor store, I said 10. I think I might change that actually, because if I'm having a grand final day, I might buy a few bottles of wine or something for people. So let's do 50. And then I'll take it out of here maybe. Here we go. Cool, just in case. Shopping, I've got 600, which is extreme. I don't think I will do that. But what does shopping even mean? You know, what does that? I think that's everything that's not drugs, medicine, cosmetic. Like if I do need a couple of pairs of sandals. All of my shoes were so crappy. They're from Kmart or Cotton On, and they pretty much got melted away and destroyed on the trip, whatever I took. So yeah, and whatever other bits and bobs that I buy. Like I think I don't know what I need. Let's leave it at 600 because I don't know. That's so much money though. Counseling, I have one session this month, so it'll be 102 with the rebate and everything back. Fitness, I've done 300. That's gonna include like dance class, and if I join a gym / buy a pack of other classes. Maybe I'll make this, maybe I'll make this 500 and then change this to 400, because if I do the class that I want to do, it's sort of hot yoga, hot Pilates, that kind of stuff. It's quite expensive, so we'll see. Pet care, 100. I need to buy Flo's food, which is dental food, and it's expenny. And drugstore, medicine, cosmetic, 100. That's for any scripts I need, vitamins, toothpaste, deodorant, anything from Chemist Warehouse is pretty much this. Don't think I'll spend 100, but it's a nice amount. So yeah. The majority is housing and bills, of course, when you break it down. Food is 1,000, personal is 1,000. So that's kind of nice how I've split that up. Savings, 468 is hilarious, but again, I have savings. I transferred all the money from Canada over to my Aussie account, so I need to pop that into proper savings. But that is it. So I am gonna leave it there for this video. I don't have any favorites. I'm obsessed with Sabrina Carpenter's new album. I've had discussions with my colleagues at work about it. Like, it is, a lot of her songs, they kind of all blend into one, and it's nothing super original, but that doesn't mean I don't love a pop banger album. My favorites from the album: Good Graces, Juno, Bedcam, Don't Smile is pretty good too. Like, I love her. I love what she's doing. I loved her chicken shop date that she did with Amelia on YouTube. If you know what I'm talking about, you'll get it. Another favorite, I started rewatching all the hot ones. We just don't have enough interview shows anymore. There's no Oprah, who I grew up with. There's no Ellen anymore because she got cancelled. Jimmy Fallon just laughs a lot. Jimmy Kimmel annoys me, he's very grating. I do love Stephen Colbert, but I don't think there's no deep dive interviews apart from kind of Call Her Daddy. And even Alex Cooper's style of interviewing can get annoying if you listen to her a lot. I just don't think she asks some of the questions that I would ask. And that's no shade, like, I mean, no one's gonna come for me for not loving Alex Cooper's interview style, but I do like some of her interviews that she does with celebrities, but I'm such a celebrity person that I love, you know, deeper questions. And I think Sean on Hot Ones does ask some great questions. So he's a pretty good interviewer. So yeah, getting back into those, love me some of that. And just listening to some deeper stories on TikTok recently. Like, what did I watch yesterday? I watched an interview with one of the last remaining survivors of the Hiroshima atomic bomb. Like, she was 6 years old when it went off, and she describes her experience during and after that and how it affected her whole life. And it was so harrowing. And I was watching and listening on the train, and it was 2 parts. If you guys are interested, let me know. I can pop the link down below, or like the creator who interviewed this lady. But it was so beautiful, and just a story like that is not always on the news, not always spoken about. And I just think it's important to watch more educational stuff on TikTok. Like, yes, I'm here for the memes, the funny grabs from celebrities, or the animal videos, things like that. But watching a real account of such a awful, like, important thing that happened in history, not important that it happened, but to listen to someone's account of this dark part of history, you don't see that very often. So stop and listen to some of those more interesting stories that pop up of, you know, people just telling their story and sharing an experience, because it's something that you wouldn't have experienced, and it might, you know, I just think it's good for growth. I don't know what I'm saying, I'm rabbiting on. So thank you guys so much for watching. It's nice to be back in Melbourne, back at home, and I'm excited for spring. It looks like it's gonna rain though, so don't love that. But if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Thanks for making it to the end. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my TikTok and my Instagram if you want more updates on the reg, because I do not post on YouTube as regularly as I used to / would like to. So feel free to say hi to me there, chuck me a DM, tell me what's going on, and yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Forget your feelings, show me you want it. You've been a fan, ain't no more talking. Need you to back it up.